The issue of domestic violence has been brought to the forefront of the Jamaican society, with 2016 recording a total of 60 persons being killed by this plague. Is enough being done? Head of the Constabulary Communications Unit, Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, spoke about the response of the police to cases of domestic abuse, as well as some of the latest statistics when we spoke with her in December.
Domestic violence and domestic related incidents, something that we are very concerned in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We would have seen in 2016 a number of cases that are related to domestic violence. Some of them have resulted in deaths and serious injuries. So it is something that we have not been looking at not just since 2016, but it's something that we have been working on for a very long time. I know from us way back in the 90s, Deputy Commissioner Novelet Grant, now acting commissioner, she would have done tremendous work in terms of training members how to treat with the issue of domestic violence. So what we saw, especially in the latter part of last year, 2016, a number of cases where women were killed. It is concerning to us because those type of murders are not those that you can do much about, because most times you don't see them coming. They're happening behind closed doors. They're happening among persons who love each other, and so they claim that they love each other, because if you love someone, you would really not want to kill them. So many times you don't even get a report that something was happening. The first time you get a call is when you get called to pick up a body, because there's a death, there's a murder. So we realize now that the work continues.
According to psychologist Dr. Lekim Samaj, conflict is at the heart of the matter. He notes that this occurs when both parties have separate desires of outcome.
Two of the areas that are most indicative are sex and money. So something to do with differences in terms of, so then when you get to the relationship situation, it's oftentimes one person wants to end the relationship, which is to withdraw themselves completely, and the other one doesn't want to let go.
Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me.
Are there signs that tell your partner is abusive?
Trying to separate you from your friends. The idea is cut you off from your friends so that you spend more time with them and them alone. So you don't have your family around, you don't have your friends around, you can't refer to them. So then that person becomes the only one that controls and defines what you do. That's a start, that's a sign that they want to be the only one to impose views on you.
Can I at least go back to school? You know I've always wanted to study
This
art.
here is your school. Learn that.
The physical part that shows up early is even just touching you. Just there's a dispute and the person grab you, or shake you, or push you. So it doesn't start off as flat out abuse, but those are the earlier signs. And there's a wonderful saying that says that you can't change what you tolerate. So once you start to tolerate those things, then it escalates. It gets worse. Now, why that happens, we largely use negative reinforcement and punishment to settle disputes. Jamaica is a violent country. Our past, coming out of slavery and colonization, those were not pleasant circumstances. You could even proceed with the slave catchers and the Middle Passage. So we have a history of violent behavior. And so, this notion of conceived in sin and shaped in iniquity, that's who we are. Huh? And when you get into our own personal development, I think the first space that shapes this kind of behavior is a family.
Abuse, Dr. Samaj notes, starts from an early age. He says when a child is beaten, it teaches them 4 things. Hence, he says, that is a cornerstone of Jamaica's problem.
When you beat a child, you're teaching them 4 things at the same time. Not that you mustn't take up the phone when I tell you don't take it up, You're telling them if one person is big and the other person is small, they can hit you. You're telling them that if somebody is angry with you, they can hit you. You're telling them if you do something that somebody disapproves of, them can hit you. If you do something that make me angry, them can hit you. So we learn that very early as a byproduct of this thing we call corporal punishment. It translates next to school. Whenever I see children play in school, how you know which one is the teacher? The one with the stick, right? So very early you learn that. And using violence. Now, men resort to physical violence because they can use their hands and weapons. Women use verbal and emotional violence. We tend to not look into that side of domestic abuse. Women will say things, and the emotional impact of what they do, sometimes it can be even more devastating. But they say sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can be devastating.
He further points out that there should be no distinction between a push, whether it was done jokingly or not.
If you start differentiating it, you allow it to begin. It takes, but just play with you. Look how many times people say, I would say, hurtful things to each other. When a person gets upset, but I can joke me around. Hello, I don't run that kind of joke. Sorry? So even if it was a joke, even if it was play, you still draw attention to it and say, I don't play like that. I don't, because it starts like that. Simply and easy. We just play, we're playing. No, I don't play like that. And especially if women, the first time that happens, you nip it in the bud. You say, it happens again, you hit him back. I've always said to, when a man is threatening a woman and so on, I ask her, you don't have to half crazy, brother.
In a report by the Western Medical Journal in 2010, it is estimated that 30 to 75% of adult women report psychological abuse and 10 to 30% physical violence. However, in Latin America and the Caribbean, intimate partners are the main assailants, and femicide has been shown to account for half of the cases of murdered women in the Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago. But reports in Jamaica indicate that approximately 80% of violent acts occurs between intimate couples. Now, what is Dr. Samaj's take on the age-old saying, he beats me because he loves me?
I think it's associated with the end product. When people, after the quarrel and after the beating, then they're making up. The making up for some people is so powerful. The contrast is so powerful. And then the person actually say that, it become a love, because and then you rationalize it. Fear and love are not the same thing. Because you're afraid to lose the person, that's why you behave like that. It's not the same thing. And there are people who actually believe that. And they tell themselves that he didn't really mean it. It's because he loved me.
The question, why do individuals stay in abusive relationships, was posed to a few persons in the corporate area. Here are the responses.
They must understand that both the man also must understand and say, if it's a problem there, just walk away from it. Don't try to take no one life. Just try to talk it over and make everything all right, just like how it was there before. It makes sense if you want to come out of reason, you have to kill a one. Just walk away from it.
Because them love the person. That's why. Them don't want to leave them, because them love them. So if them leave them, them go to fret. So them just go and do them thing.
Because she love the man, that's why she stay in it. She don't stay, she don't love man, she don't stay in it. Because man, I get with the and beat woman, so you go stung in it. You must go leave one day. You never stung if the man and stab you, man, you don't take it. You come out of it. So I must love, she love man, but she stay in it.
Some of them have financial problems, so them not left. And some of them say I love. You see what I mean? So them not left. And them get used to it. Some of them can't do better. So there are so many reasons why them stay against a man who are beat them every day. You understand me? So nowadays women stay.
I say maybe it's fear of the unknown. They're afraid to leave because they don't know what they will be going on to. Or just insecurity.
I not say no man abusive. I do it already and I not do it again. I not do it for nothing. My children them. So I not see why a woman for stay in an abusive relationship where I kill them. Man I kill woman wicked. Look how much woman dead already.
And love lake. And so I love the lake, you just stay in the lake. But right now, it don't make sense a man beat a woman and come out woman out there.
I don't know, but I not stay in none. Yeah, because I not stay in a relationship with a man beat me and abuse me. Once the abuse start, I go leave.
Woman will stay in an abusive relationship. Them don't want to go work and be independent. Them sit down and wait for a man to come with every little thing. So therefore the man them use it as advantage on them.
Maybe they love the man. Maybe the man mind them up to the maximum. So
yeah, woman love when you beat them, you know. So only woman love when you beat them, because if they feel if you don't beat them, you know love them.
Oh, if you beat you, then what? Take your clothes off, abuse and mistreat you, then later on seduce you, make him know him not get no loving if I saw then start.